The Kushtaka, the Skinwalker of the North. Imagine this? You're lost. The biting cold of the Alaskan wilderness has sunk deep into your bones, and the endless twilight of the towering spruce forest is swallowing your last shred of hope. Every shadow feels like a threat. Every snap of a twig sounds like a footstep. And then you hear it. Faintly at first, then clearer, the unmistakable sound of a baby crying. A surge of adrenaline and relief washes over you. Someone is out here. Salvation. You crash through the dense undergrowth, calling out as you follow the sound, desperate for another living soul. But the cries always seem just a little further ahead, leading you deeper and deeper into the unknown, away from any trail, away from safety. This is how the Kushtaka finds you. Deep in the misty rainforests and along the rugged coastlines of southeast Alaska, a terrifying legend lurks. It is a story whispered by the Tlingit and Tsimshian peoples for generations. A story of a creature that is not quite human and not quite animal, a being that blurs the line between savior and destroyer. Today, we journey into the heart of the Pacific Northwest to uncover the ancient legend of the Kushtaka, a shape-shifting otter man that has haunted this landscape for centuries. We'll explore its dual nature, examine historical accounts of encounters, and look into the modern sightings that suggest this ancient creature is far from just a memory. Section 1. The Legend of the Land Otter Man. The name itself, Kushtaka, or more properly, Kushtaka in the Tlingit language, translates to Land Otter Man. This name is the key to understanding the creature's very nature. The legend, primarily rooted in the folklore of the Tlingit people, but also shared by the Tsimshian, describes a being that exists in a state of constant transformation. It's a shapeshifter of terrifying power, able to appear as a human, a large otter, or most frighteningly, a hybrid of the two, a hairy, bipedal monstrosity with otter-like features and a deeply unsettling presence. But the Kushtaka's mimicry goes beyond just its physical form. Its greatest weapon is deception through sound. The stories consistently warn of its ability to perfectly imitate the cries of a human baby or the desperate screams of a woman in peril. This lure is devilishly effective in the vast, empty wilderness. For a lost or lonely traveler, such a sound promises rescue and a return to civilization. It is a siren song played on the strings of human compassion, designed to draw prey into the dense woods or towards treacherous riverbanks where the Kushtaka waits. In addition to these mimicked cries, the creature is said to have its own unique call, a distinctive three-part whistle with a low, high, and then low sequence. For those who know the lore, hearing this sound in the wilderness is a clear signal of imminent danger, a warning to get away as fast as you can. It's the auditory signature of a predator that hunts not just for food, but for souls. The legends of the Kushtaka aren't just simple monster stories. They are woven into the spiritual and physical landscape of the Pacific Northwest. They serve as vital cautionary tales, a way for elders to instill a healthy respect for the dangers of the wilderness in their children. The dense forests and icy rivers were unforgiving, and a child wandering too close to the water's edge was in real danger. The threat of being taken by the Kushtaka was a powerful deterrent, a supernatural guardian enforcing practical rules of survival. Section 2. The dual nature, savior, or monster. What makes the Kushtaka legend so compelling is its ambiguity. This isn't a one-dimensional monster. The stories portray a creature with a starkly dual nature, capable of both ultimate cruelty and a strange, terrifying kind of mercy. On one hand, the Kushtaka is a malevolent trickster, a soul-stealing demon. In these tales, it lures victims to their doom with chilling purpose. Once a person is drawn in by the phantom cries, the Kushtaka reveals itself, and their fate is sealed. Some legends say the creature simply tears them to shreds, but other, more sinister versions describe a fate far worse. In these accounts, the Kushtaka attacks and steals the victim's humanity, transforming them into a new Kushtaka. In Tlingit belief, this isn't just a physical change. It's spiritual damnation. The soul of the victim is trapped, unable to be reincarnated, and condemned to an eternal half-life, now forced to hunt other humans to repeat the horrific cycle. However, there is another side to the story. In a different set of tales, the Kushtaka acts as a grim savior. Imagine again that person lost in the Alaskan wild, on the verge of freezing to death. As their body begins to fail, the Kushtaka appears. It doesn't offer a warm fire or a map home. Instead, it offers survival at an unthinkable price. It saves the dying person by forcibly transforming them into a Kushtaka. This act is a paradox. By becoming one of the land otter men, the individual gains the creature's resilience and the ability to withstand the lethal cold. They are rescued from a lonely death, but they are no longer human. They can never return to their family or their former life. They are trapped between worlds, a sentient being in a monstrous form. This salvation is a curse, a form of immortality that costs the saved their very soul. This duality is at the core of the Kushtaka's power, forcing a question with no easy answer. Is it better to die as a human, or to live on as a monster? The Kushtaka embodies the brutal indifference of nature itself, and elevates the legend from a simple cryptid to a profound mythological figure. Section 3. Historical accounts and encounters. While the Kushtaka is a figure of myth, the line between folklore and eyewitness accounts can get blurry in the mysterious lands of Southeast Alaska. For centuries, people have reported strange encounters in these woods. The stories are particularly concentrated around certain areas, places that have earned dark reputations. Chief among them is Thomas Bay, a remote inlet northeast of Petersburg, Alaska. To the Tlingit, it is known as Gi-Nana, or the Bay of Death, a name given after a catastrophic landslide in 1750 buried a village and killed over 500 people. To prospectors who flooded the region during the gold rush, it earned a new name, Devil's Country. It was here, around 1900, that one of the most famous Kushtaka accounts was documented. The story comes from a manuscript by a prospector named Harry D. Culp, titled The Strangest Story Ever Told. Culp and his partners were searching for gold when they began to hear tales of strange creatures in the Thomas Bay area. One of his companions, a man named Charlie, ventured alone into the wilderness. When he returned, he was a changed man, horrified and desperate to leave Alaska forever. According to Culp's account, Charlie described being attacked by a pack of hideous creatures. He said they were neither men nor monkeys, covered in long, coarse hair, matted with scabs and oozing sores that gave off a sickening stench. He claimed they swarmed him, claw-like fingers reaching as he fled for his life. He escaped, but the terror of what he saw drove him from the territory. The devil creatures, described by prospectors, were easily identified by the Tlingit as their ancient nemesis, the Kushtaka. Over generations of living with this threat, a specific set of protections became part of the lore. The most powerful repellent against the Kushtaka was believed to be copper, a metal of immense cultural and spiritual value to the Tlingit people. Other, more primal, deterrents were also cited, including dogs, said to be the Kushtaka's greatest enemies, as well as fire and even human urine. These weren't just superstitions. They were a practical guide for survival, where supernatural threats were considered very real. Section 4. The Alaskan Triangle and Modern Mysteries. The Kushtaka isn't just a creature of the past. The mystery of these lands has persisted, taking on new and equally unsettling forms. This region of southeast Alaska sits within a place ominously known as the Alaskan Triangle, roughly defined by the points of Anchorage, Juneau, and the northern town of Utqiagvik. This vast wilderness has a statistical anomaly that is hard to ignore. Thousands of people have vanished here over the decades, a rate of disappearance far higher than anywhere else in the United States. While many are eventually found, a disturbing number of cases remain cold. Of course, the sheer scale and danger of the wilderness are major factors. But the strangeness of some cases has led many to wonder if something more is at play. One of the most famous disappearances in the Triangle occurred on October 16, 1972. A twin-engine Cessna 310 carrying two prominent U.S. politicians, House Majority Leader Holly Boggs and Alaska Congressman Nick Begich, vanished while flying from Anchorage to Juneau. The disappearance triggered one of the largest search and rescue operations in American history. For 39 days, military and civilian aircraft scoured a staggering 325,000 square miles of rugged terrain. They found nothing. No wreckage, no distress signal, no remains. The plane and its 4 occupants had simply ceased to exist. This and countless other disappearances have fueled speculation for decades. While rational explanations point to treacherous weather and unforgiving terrain, the region's folklore offers a darker possibility. When people vanish so completely, it's perhaps inevitable that the old stories resurface. Stories of a creature that lures people off the path, leaving nothing behind. The Kushtaka legend provides a terrifying, ancient narrative for a very modern and real phenomenon. Section 5. The Skinwalker of the North and Modern Theories. To help understand the Kushtaka, many have drawn a parallel to another famous entity from indigenous American lore, the Skinwalker of the Navajo people. The title Skinwalker of the North is an apt comparison. Both are tales of terrifying shapeshifters, malicious beings that were once human. Both are deeply tied to the cultures and landscapes from which they emerged. However, it's vital to recognize they are distinct legends from different nations. The comparison is useful not to equate them, but to understand the shared, primal fear of a predator that wears a familiar face. Today, theories about the Kushtaka's true identity fall into 3 general categories. The first is the skeptical viewpoint, that the Kushtaka is a powerful cautionary tale. An ingenious story designed to keep children from dangerous rivers, explain the perils of the wilderness, and give a name to the grief that follows an unexplained disappearance. In this view, the Kushtaka is a metaphor, not a physical creature. The second is the cryptozoological theory. This perspective speculates that the stories might be based on a real, undiscovered animal. Proponents suggest an unknown primate species, or perhaps a misidentified animal like a giant otter. The descriptions of a hairy, bipedal creature in prospectors' accounts, in particular, fuel this thinking, connecting the Kushtaka to the broader phenomenon of Bigfoot sightings. Finally, there is the supernatural or spiritual view, which honors the legend's origins. This perspective maintains that the Kushtaka is exactly what the Tlingit and Tsimshian stories say it is, a spiritual entity that operates by rules outside our understanding. To those who hold this belief, the Kushtaka is not a myth or a misidentified animal, but an active and dangerous presence in the world. From the cautionary tales whispered to Tlingit children, to the frantic accounts of gold prospectors, and the unsettling statistics of the Alaskan Triangle, the legend of the Kushtaka endures. It is a story that shifts its shape, just like the creature it describes, sometimes a monster, sometimes a savior, sometimes a metaphor, and for some, a terrifying reality. It embodies the profound and often frightening mystery of the world's last great wildernesses. This exploration isn't about proving or disproving the existence of the land Otter Man. It is about understanding the power of its story and its deep roots in the land and culture of Southeast Alaska. The legend persists because the wilderness persists, and with it, our primal fear of the unknown that lurks just beyond the firelight. What do you think? Is the Kushtaka a real entity, a cautionary tale, or something else entirely? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring the world's deepest mysteries, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next investigation. We are left where we began, with a question that hangs in the cold Alaskan air. The question of what you would do when faced with the ultimate choice in a moment of desperation. After all, if you were truly lost in the endless twilight of the Alaskan coast, and you heard a sound that promised salvation, would you follow?